Sasuke and Naruto lay there in the Valley of the End. Their final battle had gone for quite a long time, and both boys were well and truly exhausted. Their wounds were deep, bleeding profusely. Naruto looked over for a moment at Sasuke, who by this time was now asleep. Naruto was so pleased to see that he had finally been validated. He finally fulfilled that promise he made so long ago. He finally saved his friend from the darkness. But even still, as he looked down at his right arm and at Sasuke's left, or more like their lack thereof, he knew that their lives would be permanently altered forever. That was if they lived through this at all. The bleeding was intense, and even now, Naruto was feeling himself being pulled into the void of the unconscious. He was unsure if he would ever wake up again if he did, but at the same time, he felt it calling him closer. "If I die right now," he said, "I can die happy, knowing that I fulfilled my desires, kept my promises, and saved the person who needed me most." And as he said that, he began to feel himself drawn into endless night. As he lay there, he did not sense or feel the presence that had been watching them. The man who spoke in hands had watched as the two destroyed their own. He had been watching the fight from its start to its conclusion. Now he was beginning to understand why Fu had taken such a liking to this world. They were strong, but the good doctor himself had a different interest in this. He was not interested in the physical aspect of strength like his peer was. No, he was more interested in the spiritual strength, emotional strength, the strength within their beating hearts, the strength of their very soul. As he drew closer to their bodies, Dr. Gaster knelt down and looked over Naruto and Sasuke. Putting his hand on Naruto's chest, he spoke. "You're pleased to have saved someone who needed you, but what if someone else needed you? Someone you never knew, someone who was as different and alien to you as even I," he questioned. "Would you fight with the same intensity, or would you give up? Perhaps we can see." In that moment, Naruto was transported into darkness to be reconnected. Dr. Gaster was not a man with no interests. He was freshly involved in this genre of world the people beyond the walls called anime, but he could not lie. His genre was in the experiences that allowed those people beyond the wall to, for but a moment, extend into a new world, to show the intents of their heart, to escape. There was a beauty in people connecting with others, even if those people weren't real in the sense some might say. They were connected, and their hearts knew joy. They learned, they grew. These were the experiences that made Dr. Gaster's permanently fixed smile be true. And now, he wished to see the same for Naruto. "There's a world where a hero didn't wake up," he said. "Such a sad world. A star burned out after their own heroic sacrifice. Perhaps it is that you can help this world by taking his place, even if only for a moment." The little heart-shaped soul of Naruto hovered before him. Though it was not conscious enough to know what the doctor was saying, it pulsed with different colors in response, as if subconsciously answering him. The red soul pulsed yellow, orange, blue, cyan, purple, but strongest of all, it gleamed green, as if a challenge had been accepted unknowingly. This made Dr. Gaster truly happy. "Then let's see what you can do in this world," he said. He pulled the lever, and suddenly there was light again. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Naruto lay there, unmoving, silent. He heard flowing and swooshing. What was that sound? It sounded as though he were laying by the edge of a gentle beach, or under it. Naruto's eyes opened as he realized that he was underwater. Sitting up with a start, he coughed as he pulled himself out of a spring of gently glowing water. "What the hell?" he questioned. Looking back, he saw the gently flowing water and began to question to himself how he could fall asleep in a pool like this. Looking down, he noticed he was just in his boxers. He began to question where he was as a voice began to speak to him. "You must be Link," it said from a place close by, yet far away enough that he did not know where it came from. "Who are you?" he asked. "You will find out soon enough." As Naruto pulled himself from the pool, he began to remember everything that had happened. The Fourth Shinobi World War, the battle with Sasuke. "Sasuke!" Naruto said in realization. He began to look around, wading through the water again, but Sasuke wasn't there. It was then that Naruto looked down at his arm. His arm that had once been severed was no longer missing, but instead replaced by some darkly colored claw that wore gaudy braces and jewelry. "What is this?" he questioned. Stepping out of the pool, he looked around and saw only a chest waiting there for him. Walking over to it, he opened it. Inside was a set of items and a pair of clothes, along with a note. "No shinobi should be without their gear," it said. Looking through the items, he pulled out what looked like bandages. Looking at this arm, he found it discomforting in appearance, feeling almost certain that it wasn't his. So he discarded the braces and jewelry that lined it and proceeded to wrap it in the bandages to hide the nature of its strange appearance. From within, he found a pair of orange pants he had worn before, a thin fishnet undershirt, and a brand new overcoat. Putting on the sandals that came with it, he also put on his leaf headband and grabbed the shuriken pouch that had been left behind for him. Once he was properly dressed, he stepped out of the cave-like room and into the real world. And what he saw startled him completely. He was no longer at the Valley of the End, but instead on a strange island that existed high up in the sky, a small floating archipelago. "Am I dead?" he questioned. "Is this what heaven is supposed to be like?" No, it couldn't be heaven. If it were, his parents would be there to greet him. Looking around, he saw a rather large temple in the distance, and also what looked to be a figure. As he made his way toward the figure, he couldn't help but question where he was and what had happened to Sasuke. The figure turned to greet Naruto, showing that it was something more than just a simple man. Possessing features like that of a goat or rabbit, Naruto became defensive. Could it have been some relation to Kaguya? "Who are you?" he demanded. "And what have you done with Sasuke?" The figure's face grew perplexed. "Sasuke? Who is Sasuke?" he asked. "My friend. Where is he?" The figure thought back and recalled only seeing one of them down there. He did not see any Sasuke figure. He tried to explain this to Naruto, and Naruto, sensing no lies in the man's aura, decided to trust that he had not harmed Sasuke. But this only brought about more questions. If this man had fought Naruto but hadn't seen Sasuke anywhere, then where did Sasuke go? Had he gotten up? Left Naruto behind? "It's a pleasure to meet you," the figure said. "I am Rauru, first king of Hyrule. Zelda has told me much about you, Link. She spoke of your swordsman's skills and how you banished the darkness with your master sword." "Link?" Naruto questioned. "I don't know who this Link is you're talking about, but I'm not him. I'm Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki." Rauru's eyes widened in horror as he realized that he must have made a grave error. He was supposed to rescue the hero of Hyrule, not some random warrior. And as the consequences played out in his head, he knew that the true Link must be dead by this time. But this boy matched all the criteria Zelda had given him. Blonde hair, blue eyes, small stature, and a wounded right arm. Rauru had made a horrible mistake, and now the world was at risk. "I apologize," he said as he turned away from Naruto. "I fear I've made a grave mistake," he said. He pushed the door to the Temple of Time and stepped inside. Naruto followed the glowing figure in, not yet registering that he was dead. "Hey, wait! You need to make this right! Where am I and how do I get back?" "You're on the Sky Islands, the home of my race, the Zonai. And below is the kingdom of Hyrule, where I first found you." "I don't know about any Hyrule," Naruto said. "It isn't on any map that I know." Rauru looked back. "Where are you from then?" "I'm from Konohagakure, in the Land of Fire." Rauru had never heard of that before. Had Hylia played a trick on him? Was this some punishment for his failure to stop the rise of the Demon King that they were now facing? "I'm sorry, Naruto," Rauru said. "I do not know where you came from or how to get you back. All I know is that you are here, now, and maybe that is for a reason." Bringing in Naruto, he began to speak. "Our land is under threat from an evil sorcerer, a king of demons." "Morio? You mean Morio?" Naruto asked. No, Rauru said, though he now feared something else possibly as bad as the Demon King. "There was once a man possessed of evil named Ganondorf. I had thought maybe he might be reasoned with and peace restored to our peoples, but he was cunning and deceptive. Killing my wife, he claimed a power not meant for him and was reborn as the Demon King. He has long since been sealed underground by my own hand, but in recent times that seal began to break. Now he is free, and the entire land is suffering the calamity of his malice, the gloomy shadow of his dread powers falling upon all those under his blood moon." Naruto had been quickly lost in the flowery language, but he seemed to understand the concept. Bad guy appeared, threw the world through a loop, and now apparently waits in darkness. Rauru led Naruto to the edge of the temple, where they peered down through the clouds at Hyrule Castle, sitting above a large chasm, held up by small supports so few that it gave the illusion that the castle was flying. There was a dark, crimson aura emanating from the building. Naruto had never felt such an energy. It felt very similar to his chakra, but still different. "You know," Rauru said as he spoke, "Zelda really was certain Link would save the day." "Who is this Zelda?" Naruto asked. "She was the princess of this kingdom, but sadly she made a great sacrifice to save the kingdom, and now she no longer exists, at least not in the sense that most would assume." Naruto seemed sad about that. "This land doesn't have anyone to save it? What about the Kage, or the king, or the soldiers, or ninja, or anything?" Naruto asked. Rauru shook his head. "No. This land was only previously freed from over 100 years of suffering under the wrath of the Demon King, and now his true self has materialized. The lands and people are still weak, and what's worse, the technology they had used to combat the villain has all but disappeared. Without Link, I fear this world will soon be covered in darkness." Naruto felt it deep within him boiling up, a desire for justice. He wanted a world of peace, and if this villain was going to destroy that peace, then he was going to fight him. "All I have to do is destroy that Ganondorf guy?" Naruto asked. "Yes, if the Demon King could be destroyed or resealed, then maybe peace would return." "Then consider it done," Naruto said as he jumped from the perch down toward the water. "Wait," Rauru shouted. "I didn't yet tell you," and he's gone, Rauru said. "Well, let's just see how he does." As Naruto flew through the air, the wind pushed against his cheeks. His eyes steeled and filled with determination. He was aiming for a lake. As the water drew closer, he pulled a kunai with a paper bomb and threw it down into the lake. The bomb exploded just as Naruto hit the water, creating a cushion for him so as to not break his spine with the force of hitting the surface. Coming out from the water, he crawled onto land and shook off like a dog. Naruto looked back up at the islands above. He then looked toward the castle. This was a straight shot, easy peasy. He began to draw closer to the castle, and as he did so, he noticed a small fortress. As he drew closer to it, the guards on top spotted him. Readying their bows, they called out to him. "Halt! Who goes there?" Naruto looked up at them and waved his hand. "Yo, I'm Naruto. I heard you had a Demon King to slay?" The guards would look at each other and then open the gate to him. Within, he was informed to speak with the current head of the exploration group, Ms. Pura. As Naruto drew close to her, he began asking how he could get into the castle. "Get into Hyrule Castle? No, that's out of the question," Pura said. "We are waiting for Princess Zelda and Link to come back. We're on standby until that time." "I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't think they're going to be coming back anytime soon," Naruto said. Pura's face paled with terror as her eyes slowly widened. "What does that mean?" she asked, fearing the worst. Naruto never was a guy with a sense of decorum, nor the knowledge of how to read a room. Perhaps he believed that honesty in something as important as this was merited, regardless of the pain it caused. "I talked with a man who claimed to be the first king of Hyrule, and he said that Princess Zelda no longer exists." Pura fell to her knees. No, that can't be right," she said. Link and Zelda are the two pillars that hold everything up. Without them, hope will drain from this land." Naruto, feeling bad about how Pura was taking this, and the gravity that this news now seemed to carry with it, knelt down beside her. "Hey, don't be silly. Hope doesn't rely upon only two people. So long as you're alive and have the chance to breathe, you can do anything. Carry on in the spirit of those two, and forge a new path forward. Hope isn't lost." She looked up. "You don't understand. Only Zelda and Link were capable of—" "Pura," one of the guards called. She looked over. "What is it?" she asked. "We spotted Princess Zelda on the exterior balcony of the castle." Pura looked at Naruto with a huff, feeling betrayed that he would lie to her, and perhaps feeling a little stupid for trusting him. She stood and pulled her dress to get away from Naruto and moved to the highest point of her study to see. Pulling out a spyglass, she began to search. Naruto drew closer to her. It was then that Pura pushed the spyglass into his chest. "Then what do you call that?" she asked him, directing him where to look. Naruto put his eye to the lens and spotted a woman with blonde hair, blue eyes, and the kindest-looking face. Frankly, Naruto found her quite beautiful. As beautiful as Sakura, her very movements filled with grace. His ears turning red, he closed his spyglass. Is that really your princess, he asked. You're darn tootin' it is, Purah said, Nintendo's censors not allowing her to draw any closer to cursing than that. Naruto began to think. I don't know what to say. I really was told that she ceased to exist, at least as we know it. And who really told you? You said the king of Hyrule? There hasn't been a king since Rome Bosphorus Hyrule a century ago. I don't know, I just sort of believed the guy. He had a castle in the sky, and he gave me this arm, Naruto said, loosening the bandages around his hand. Purah saw the hand and began to wonder. Naruto then pointed upward at a grouping of islands that now lingered in the sky ever since the upheaval had started. Purah followed his finger and noted the ancient ruins that sat atop with her spyglass. She now no longer distrusted Naruto. He obviously had experienced something unique, but she couldn't validate the truth of what he'd been told. What did you say your name was? She asked. Naruto Uzumaki, he informed her. Purah looked at Naruto, noting his strange headband that was very similar to that her tribe, the Sheikah, had once worn thousands of years ago. Are you a warrior? She asked. Naruto nodded. A shinobi. A shinobi? Purah asked in surprise. So few of those existed anymore, outside of Kakariko village, and even those that remained were not as skilled. The only other possibility in her eyes was that Naruto might be of the Yiga clan. Slowly, her trust began to waver at the thought of their ancient rivals, worshippers of the Calamity and the Demon King that now resided in the castle. She looked him over and noted these strange symbols on his clothes. Nowhere was an eye seen, and regardless of which clan they were a part of, a Sheikah or Yiga shinobi always had the Eye of Truth located somewhere on their body, either as a piece of their vesture or even as a tattoo. Despite her mind warning her otherwise, she decided to trust her heart that this boy was trustworthy. I have a question, she asked. Ask me anything, Naruto said. Would you be willing to lead an expedition to the castle to verify that the person we saw really was Zelda, she asked. Naruto nodded. Of course, I'd be glad to, he said. Purah smiled. Get to the Skyview Tower. We're going to infiltrate, she said. Purah led Naruto and many other volunteering warriors to the tower. Giving each a backpack, she spoke. At the height of your jump, pull the wire located here. If that wire doesn't work, pull any number of these other wires until something happens, she said. Naruto put the backpack on. A moment later, he and the others entered the Skyview Tower. Despite being so tall, there was only one story. What are we doing in here, he asked. Purah smiled. You'll see. She touched a device to a pedestal. Suddenly, before she could speak another word, Naruto and the others were thrown up into the air. Naruto screamed as he flew. What am I supposed to do? He screamed. There were no bodies of water nearby. That's when the words of Purah were called back. Grabbing the wire on his backpack, he pulled it, deploying a parachute. He and the others began to drift down, the wind pushing them toward Hyrule Castle. Landing just outside of the castle, Naruto touched the ground. He would have kissed the dirt if it weren't for the dead smell it gave off. Something was wrong with the land, and he assumed it had something to do with the crimson gloom that was emanating from the castle. Something wasn't right. If Zelda were here, then why was there still gloom coming from the castle? Why wasn't the crisis averted? The words of Rauru rung in Naruto's head. Maybe Zelda still exists, but something's wrong with her, he wondered. As he and the others discarded their backpacks, they began to trek up. Along the way, they encountered bokoblins, moblins, and all manner of other monster unlike anything Naruto had ever seen before. When he questioned what they were, he was told that they were monsters, created by the Demon King, lesser demons that sought to do his will. Naruto and the others continued making their way forward until they reached the outer entrance to the sanctuary. Walking in, Naruto could tell that there had once been a large battle here. A hole leading down into an unknown pit, and the remains of rubble and other destruction that bore the appearance of combat could be seen. As they entered, they found Zelda. It's the princess, one of the men exclaimed with joy. Zelda turned around and smiled. I'm glad you could all join me, she said, though her eyes narrowed at Naruto. You're not Link, she said, looking at him. Naruto shook his head. No, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I regret to inform you, but I was told Link might no longer be of this world. Zelda smiled. Oh, that is perfect then. The group was disquieted by her words. Zelda would never wish ill upon her personal knight. It was then that the facade was discarded. The form of Zelda faded as the ethereal form of a mummified monster, hardly human anymore, appeared before them. Naruto was shocked. He had heard of the impure world reincarnation, the technique that could revive the dead, but whatever this demon king was using did not restore him, yet it gave off the air that it was just as deadly, or perhaps even more so. "Who are you?" Naruto called out.
"I am the Demon King, Ganondorf, the only male heir of the Gerudo tribe and rightful master of this land and all lands surrounding. I would ask your name, whelp, but I do not think you'll be alive long enough to tell it to me."
With a snap of his fingers, 4 phantom warriors appeared before the group, each one wielding a different weapon. One had a bow, another a sword, one held a club, and the last a spear. Naruto pulled his kunai. He began to rush at the one carrying the sword as his companions attempted to aid him. The bow-wielding phantom began to pick off many of his helpers, one by one. They were helpless in the face of a sorcerer of this power.
"Master Naruto, we need to retreat,"
the highest surviving officer said as he and his men began to make it back toward the entrance. Naruto saw the power of this sorcerer, and as he destroyed one phantom, another took its place. He knew that there was no chance to beat them, not like this, so Naruto agreed to falling back. He tried to hold the phantoms off by bottlenecking them at the entrance, allowing the others to escape first, but as Naruto was about to leave, an unlucky arrow flew through the air and pierced Naruto's chest. Naruto let out a gasp as the pain spread through his body. The arrow did so much more than simply wound him. It was formed of pure gloom. It began to slowly poison him. As he fell to his knees, he looked at the others as they ran back to help him, but were driven off by phantoms. One of the phantoms came to Naruto and spoke.
"You may have fancied yourself a hero, but you're no Link," he said.
The phantom planted its foot in Naruto's chest and kicked him from the castle. Naruto fell back, hitting the rocky cliff face that ran down the side of the island that the castle was sitting upon. As he fell, the ground below him opened up into a chasm, sick and oozing with gloom that wafted up like the stench of death. Naruto disappeared into the void. For quite some time, it was dark. At some point, he hit the ground, but he didn't feel it. His body was in shock. He lay there in the pitch-black darkness. There, something moved. Shadows, wraiths of soldiers killed in the imprisoning war. Those spirits trapped by the evil of the Demon King began to surround Naruto, and at the head of them, a young man with blonde hair and blue eyes. He came to Naruto's side silently. Despite the boy's stature being small and his musculature being somewhat of a letdown for a proud warrior, he had a strength that surpassed the physical and lifted Naruto up into his arms. The wraiths around began to part for him, disappearing into the darkness as the blonde warrior wraith carried Naruto to the nearest light route, the only place in the depths where Ganondorf's magic had no power. Laying Naruto down below the root, he let it bathe Naruto in a healing light that helped cleanse him of gloom. And with what little magic he could conjure up through the spirituality of his being, the warrior began attempting to mend Naruto's wounds from the fall. Eventually, Naruto's eyes opened to see the warrior there. He sat up and saw the warrior who glowed, not too unlike Rauru. The boy wore a blue tunic over which a leather pauldron extended to his chest. The right side of his tunic had been destroyed, the arm under which seemed to be burned and partially rotted. The spirit looked somewhat sickly, but a courage existed deep within that kept it going. "Who are you?" Naruto asked. The spirit did not speak, but simply stared at him. Perhaps it had already used up more power than it could muster, and now could no longer manifest a voice. Or maybe this warrior spirit was simply the strong silent type. As Naruto sat there, he began to think about what Rauru had said about the hero he was meant to save. "You're Link, aren't you?" he asked the disembodied spirit. It offered a slight nod. Naruto looked down in shame. "You were the one that should have been rescued, not me. They wanted you. They needed you, not me." Link shook his head and then raised his good hand to poke Naruto's chest, to rest the tips of his fingers over his heart. Without saying anything, the meaning of this gesture was in Naruto's mind, as though through telepathy. No, the people don't need me. They need a hero, and a hero is the one who decides in his heart to stand up against evil. Naruto looked at Link with a face that indicated that he didn't know if that were true. "I've fought many powerful people. I fought Madara Uchiha, and even Kaguya Otsutsuki, but this Ganondorf, I've never felt such power, such evil." Link put his hand on Naruto's shoulder as if to say that there's no shame in weakness. True strength wasn't the lack of weakness, but the determination to keep going in spite of it. Naruto smiled. Even still, I don't know how to get out of here, he said. Link stood and pointed toward a certain temple underground. It had been a part of an old mining shaft, converted into smelting materials into weapons, but now had seemingly become a place of reverence for the spirits that now wandered aimlessly in the dark. Naruto knew by looking at it that the only way to get out was probably to be found in there. Are you saying I need to go there? Naruto asked. Link nodded and then moved out of Naruto's way. As Naruto began to go toward it, a burned hand rested on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto looked back. Did you need something else from me? He asked. Link's face grew melancholic for a second time before the hands moved toward his own neck. A thin golden chain was plucked up from around his neck, a charm attached to it. Opening it up, there was a picture inside. The picture showed Link and Zelda, their foreheads pressed against each other, their hands possessing each a ring. A secret ceremony only for them, and a simple locket only to commemorate the secret love that they hid from the world. A privacy that nobody but Link and Zelda knew, save now for Naruto. This nearly made Naruto cry. She was your wife, he said. Link presented the locket to Naruto, and along with it came a responsibility. To deliver it to Zelda wherever she was, to remind her that no matter where she was, he would be there to protect her. Naruto took the locket and placed it around his neck. I promise, he said. I promise she'll get this. Link offered a smile and then faded into darkness. Naruto made his way to the temple, avoiding many of the monsters patrolling the area. At this time, Naruto actually felt safer in the dark. They couldn't see him, but he could see them. Entering into the temple, his hand began to glow, as if calling out for someone. It was then that a new spirit appeared. She looked like the beastly king that Naruto had met when he first got to this world, yet different still. Where did you get that? She asked. Who are you? Naruto asked. I am Minoru, one of the last of the Zonai. Now, I ask you again, where did you get that hand? It was given to me by King Hyrule of the Sky Islands. Minoru looked it over and wondered what it was that Hyrule was doing. Why would he give this to you? She asked. Naruto spoke. He gave it to me in hopes that I might defeat the Demon King in Link's place. Minoru began to understand. You do not know how to use it though, she said. Use it? Naruto asked. It was here that Minoru began to explain the abilities of the Ultra Hand. Fuse, Ascend, and Recall. With this, Naruto managed to form a true blade out of the construct parts that existed, and the broken Zonai blade hilts that remained, lacking power. Fusing these together, he made a true sword to use. Minoru then began to show him how to use Ascend and Recall. With Recall, Naruto could take any object, reverse the flow of time for it, and send it back where it came from. And finally, she taught him how to ascend. This is how you will escape the depths, she said. With this ability, you will ascend into any solid surface above you. The ground will become as though it were water, and you will simply swim up toward the surface. Naruto tried it out and was confused at how strange it felt. Minoru then spoke. I'm surprised Hyrule didn't teach you how to use this, or how to defeat the Demon King. Where is your secret stone? She asked. My secret what now? Minoru was startled. How do you not know this? She asked. It's so unlike Hyrule not to inform someone of something this important. Naruto began to scratch the back of his head with a bit of a chuckle. Well, it sounded like he was trying to tell me something, but I jumped off the island before he could finish. You were so without hesitation that you absolutely couldn't wait to jump? She asked. You are either impulsive, courageous, or just stupid. Naruto chuckled. Sakura tells me I'm all three. Minoru sighed. You need to go back to the Temple of Time. Hyrule needs to finish telling you these things. Naruto thanked her for the information and ran to the light route where he had been before. There, he spotted Link from the corner of his eye, looking at him. Naruto looked to Link with a smile, and then nodded. Link returned the gesture. A moment later, Naruto began to ascend through the ground. Don't worry, Link. I'll tell Zelda. Upon getting to the surface, he traveled toward the direction of the Sky Islands. As he looked up at them, he began to wonder how he would get there. They were way up in the sky, well out of the range of his ascend ability. That's when he discovered debris on the ground. A large boulder, likely having fallen some time ago. An idea came to him. Using the recall ability, he grabbed onto the rock and let it unfall through the air back to the Sky Island. Once he was there, he made his way toward the Temple of Time. Getting there, he found Hyrule sitting by the edge where Naruto had jumped, a forlorn shadow cast upon his face. Naruto spoke. I'm back. Hyrule looked back and saw Naruto. Rising from his seat, he began to briskly walk toward him. How could you just jump like that? You didn't even give me the chance to expand upon your mission, or even tell you how to accomplish it." Naruto lowered his head. "I'm sorry, Your Majesty," he said. Rauru was ready to keep going off on Naruto until he noticed something around Naruto's neck. "Where did you get this?" he asked as he lifted the locket up in his hands. "Link's ghost gave it to me in the depths," Naruto said. Rauru looked into the locket and saw the precious memories. Zelda had this when she'd been transported back in time, but hers had been lost, something that devastated her. He had never seen Zelda cry until she had, at that moment, come to him like a little child, tears in her eyes, begging for help finding it. Rauru cursed the broken clasp that had so callously failed to hold the most treasured item Zelda had brought back with her. She had been inconsolable. Naruto spoke. "Link charged me with delivering this to her." Rauru closed the locket and gently lowered it back down to Naruto's chest. "All is forgiven. Let us just ensure that we do this correctly this time," he said. He led Naruto to an altar. Naruto looked down at it. Rauru then began to explain the story to Naruto, of how Zelda and Link had discovered Ganondorf below ground, how Link and Zelda fell into a chasm, and how Zelda was transported back in time. Rauru explained the imprisoning war, and how Zelda had fought alongside him to avenge Rauru's wife, and how she had ultimately given her life by swallowing the secret stone and becoming a dragon so she could heal and empower the Master's sword. Even now, she flies through the sky, having forgotten everything that she is. Sadly, you will be unable to wield the Master's sword, as you are not the hero of the goddess Hylia, but that's not to say you cannot still gain the power to defeat the Demon King. If you can get upon the Light Dragon's back, perhaps you can conjure Zelda's secret stone and claim it. If you have the power of a sage, perhaps you might yet prevail, Rauru said. "How do I get on her back?" he asked. "Every day she follows the same set path. If you wait here with me, she will fly just below this island. If you time it correctly, you'll land upon her." "How do I get the secret stone?" Naruto asked. "For a time, I had questioned that as well," Rauru said. "But it seems as though fate had provided an answer for us. An eternal dragon does not remember who they are or what they are. They're mindless, soulless in a sense, but if you were to conjure up some of their memories, maybe, just maybe, you can restore enough humanity to it that the secret stone will become visible." "Will that turn Zelda back?" Naruto asked. "No, it will simply weaken her. I fear that once a secret stone is swallowed, nothing can undo it. You'd have to go back in time and stop her from swallowing it in the first place, but I highly doubt you have that kind of power." Naruto nodded in understanding. And so he sat there by the side of the Sky Island. He bit into an apple as he waited to help refill his strength. "You know, where I come from, there was a war as well," he said. This drew Rauru's attention. Naruto continued. "This war was raged because the concept of evil existed in the world." "It sounds much like our imprisoning war," Rauru said. "The calamity, the Demon King, he represents the very concept of evil. Some say he was born from it, others say he is evil incarnate." "What do you say he is?" Naruto asked. "I can't be sure, but I know the legends speak of a demon taking the form of a man, only destroyed when the human form of the goddess Hylia and her chosen knight slay him." Naruto nodded. "Well, my world was a little different. We didn't fight against the embodiment of evil. We fought against others who hated it just as much," Naruto said. "Why would you fight? Would it not be more beneficial to work together?" Rauru asked. "It would have been, but the issue is that so many people had their own ideas about how to go about it, and rarely did they agree. All their answers were extreme, forcing war upon people until the pain of it forced people to quit violence cold turkey, killing to revive an eldritch beast that could put everyone into an endless dream where they could have anything they wanted. And then there were some who just supported a world filled with war because it was profitable." "It sounds as though you had your own demon kings," Rauru said. Naruto nodded. "It felt like it, but for the most part, they could be convinced that they were going down the wrong path. You just had to break their ego and prove to them that it was okay to be weak. True strength is found in weakness, and the tenacity for a weak thing to persist in the face of adversity." "You have much wisdom for someone of such a young age," Rauru said. "You would have fit in well here. You could have easily been mistaken for the hero of the goddess," he said. Naruto shook his head. "I just like to think that if people open their hearts enough, there's no need for war. Of course, even people who don't wish for war must fight, because some people can't be lived with. Some people don't want peace. They must be fought. But if everyone could understand the right to life and the right to happiness that all people possess, I feel like the need for war could be destroyed. My world was caught in an endless cycle of hatred, just like yours. The face of the calamity took on a different shape, but the fangs it bears are the same. No matter who, how, or when, that peace will be interrupted by people who seek to destroy. That's the cost of living in an impure world. But so long as I have breath in my lungs, and so long as my heart beats within my chest, I'll fight for the world I'd like to see. Rauru was impressed by these words, and in some way, even Naruto was as well. Naruto had a lot of time to think about these things, and ever since the war ended, he could do nothing more than wonder about what had happened to his world. But as it stood, this war was the one he was trapped in, and it needed him as much as any other. "She's coming," Rauru said. Naruto stood. "Thanks for your help, Your Majesty. I'll do my best to be worthy of the role you've mistakenly given me," Naruto said with a bit of a giggle. Rauru smiled. "I no longer believe in accidents, Naruto. Now go. I'll be watching over you." Naruto smiled and then dove from the island. As he fell, he aimed for the creature's back. He landed upon it and tried to drag himself up by holding onto the fur. Reaching the nose, he found the Master Sword embedded in its forehead. As he reached out, he grabbed onto it to stabilize himself. As he did, he felt the memories of Zelda rush through his head. The beast roared at the unknown creature grabbing the blade that didn't belong to it. It attempted to attack his mind by overloading it with memories it could no longer read, and by shaking it off to its death. Naruto didn't fall though. He reached out with both hands, holding onto the blade. "Zelda!" he called out. "You don't have to be afraid. I am here to help," he shouted. But it didn't stop. The memories kept flooding in. He lived an entire life through her. He saw the calamity, the upheaval. He saw the marriage between her and Link. He saw how she went to the schoolhouse in Ateno village to teach the children. He saw her tears when she explained to Link how they couldn't have one of their own. He saw how Link comforted her. These memories were so painful. They hurt to the point that Naruto's tears were flung to the skies as the dragon tried to shake him off. There was beauty in the pain and meaning in the suffering. Link's love for Zelda was absolute. It was loyal, and even here in death, it remained loyal. Naruto then grabbed the locket around his neck and pulled it. Opening it, he looked at the image within. "Zelda," he spoke in a voice soft and kind. "He loved you," he said. "He's sorry he couldn't be here, that he couldn't be the one to tell you, that he couldn't be the one to pull this free from you, the secret blade you carry in your heart. But I'm here. I will defeat Ganondorf for yours and his sakes, but you have to trust me. Do it for Link," he said. And in that moment, Naruto's eyes became a window for the light dragon to see the locket. Tears began to spill from its eyes. And in that moment, Naruto could hear her voice in his mind. "Oh, Link, why did you have to die? I don't think I can do this alone. I don't think I can go on without you," she said. "I was so scared and lonely when I was but a girl, unable to awaken her powers. I prayed, I cried out, and no answer came to awaken my powers. I felt like a failure, but you kept me going. Only when you were in danger did my heart and soul become as one and give me the strength to face the calamity head on. And now, something worse than the calamity is here. I don't think I can do it without you," she said. In that moment, Naruto was in Zelda's mind space and saw her standing, crying. His heart was broken. The tragedy playing out before him, he drew closer. "Link isn't gone. He's still here with you, and he'll always be watching over you. He told me himself." Naruto looked down at his hands at the locket. Drawing closer to her, he put the locket around her neck. "I know you feel like you can't do this. I know you feel so weak, but right here and right now is the time to prove how strong you are. Despite these feelings, despite this sorrow, keep going. Show strength. Link wouldn't want you to throw your life away just because he's not here anymore, so find your determination. Keep going." And in that moment, as Naruto opened his eyes again, the dragon stopped thrashing. The locket now hung around the Master's sword like some fallen warrior's memorial. Before Naruto, upon the dragon's forehead, the stone he'd come for appeared. Naruto reached out and touched it. The stone shrunk to a smaller size and attached itself to Naruto's bandaged hand. The whole arm glowed through the bandages, the light to expel the darkness, to pierce it. And within him, he felt the light of Rauru's power, of Zelda's power, and the power of every sage in history. and now also he felt the light of the Master Sword. The secret stone gifted him the power to match Ganondorf's, and now there was only one place to go. As it flew over Hyrule, Naruto jumped off the dragon's back and landed on the ground just outside of the sanctuary. Heading in, he stepped over the bodies of the fallen. Looking down into the hole in the middle of the sanctuary, Naruto held up his hand. He heard a hissing from the pit, as though the darkness itself was cursing the very existence of this light. Naruto jumped in and continued to fall deeper and deeper underground. How far was he falling? He didn't know. Landing on the ground below, Naruto stood before a large, almost biological door. Holding up the stone, the light commanded the dark to obey, and it did. The path opened up like the ventricles of a heart. Stepping inside, he came face to face with the mummified corpse, reanimated by pure hatred alone. This cavern existed within a void, a pit so deep that it felt as though it existed at the very bottom of the world. Was this hell? Ganondorf sat there and chuckled.
You think you have what it takes to stop me? The hero has fallen to me, and the goddess incarnate has failed to hold me. What can you, a simple person, do in the face of the god of darkness himself?
Naruto held up his hand, letting his light gleam. This light struck Ganondorf and caused him to begin to burn, like a vampire in the sunlight. The ground rose, creating almost what looked like coral, or perhaps fleshy, bony protrusions to protect him.
You dare bring such an accursed light into my sanctuary,
Ganondorf hissed. It was then that the darkness began to flow like blood around him, swirling about like a vortex of life force. It filled him, rejuvenating him to the deepest part. Rising to his feet, he displayed his full, healthy body. Ganondorf jumped down, muscular and large, larger than most men. He possessed an aura of intimidation that felt regal in a way, yet as though his power were stolen. Nothing could fit the Gerudo chieftain's personality more.
For years, the sages fought me, and you think that you can do anything more?
Ganondorf pulled from his sheath a katana coated in gloom.
Well, at least you have guts, he said. I look forward to spilling them on the ground.
Naruto pulled out his fused sword, the best defense he had right now, and let the light of his secret stone flow through it. I wouldn't underestimate me, Naruto said. You think because you got a lucky shot in on me once, you've got it all sewed up? Let me show you how truly wrong you are. The two launched into combat, their blades clanging off each other with speed and precision. Two seasoned warriors who had spent their entire lives training for a moment like this, now exchanging their best.
I must admit, you're far more skilled than those pathetic excuses for sages that stood helplessly before me 10,000 years ago.
Naruto pushed off of him. You think you're so bad. I've faced you so many times already.
Have you? As far as I can recall, this is only our second meeting. It will also be our last.
Naruto spoke. Names, faces, they all change, but ideals don't. I've faced your ideals many times, and each time I overcame them. I'll overcome you as well, because I have one thing you don't.
And what is that?
Ganondorf asked with a snicker, as if anything could ever overcome him. Naruto spoke. I have conviction. I have the need to win. You are fighting for yourself. I'm fighting for every single person above us on the surface. I simply want it more, and that's why you're gonna die. Ganondorf's smile faded.
Then why don't we skip the pleasantries and get right into the main event?
Ganondorf ran his hand over his forehead where his secret stone of darkness rested. It began to glow with an unholy power. Then, moments after, his true magical potential was awakened. With a roar, his form became more demonic, horns protruding from his head as his hair grew long and he took on a red, hellish glow. His vesture looked as though it were sewn from solidified blood and rotten membranes. Naruto smiled. Nice transformation, but you're not the only one who can transform. A moment later, Naruto entered his six-path sage mode. Ganondorf's eyes narrowed.
Then this will be a test of skill. Only one of us can come out on top, and it will be me.
The two clashed again, their blades pressing against each other, sparking, light and dark colliding. Naruto remained confident and unafraid. He had already faced such darkness in the past and had overcome it. Now he would simply do it again. As his curving green blade played across Ganondorf's demonic katana, Naruto maneuvered around Ganondorf for a moment with a smile. The Demon King swung his blade, cleaving Naruto in two. Or so Ganondorf thought. This Naruto disappeared in a puff of smoke.
"What is this sorcery?"
Ganondorf commanded. Naruto's blade passed through Ganondorf's chest from behind. Naruto spoke. "It's called the Shadow Clone Jutsu, just one of the many ninjutsu that I know." Pulling the blade free, Ganondorf stumbled forward.
"No, I cannot lose to someone like you,"
he shouted as he clenched at his wound. "You lost a long time ago, Ganondorf," Naruto said. "You see, when you chose the path of evil, you set yourself down a path to a dead-end future. There's no victory for the wicked. They may win in a battle here and there, but the war is already lost. You lost." Ganondorf looked at Naruto.
"Lost? No, I refuse. I refuse to let my end be to someone like you. You said something earlier. You said you would win because you wanted it more. No, I want it more. I want it far more than you do. Allow me to show you how much I truly want it,"
he said as he reached up, ripping the secret stone from his forehead. Naruto was shocked. "What are you doing?" he asked. Ganondorf swallowed the stone and spoke.
"I am becoming God of Death incarnate."
His eyes were suddenly filled with draconic power. A blackness was released from Ganondorf, so large that it began to take physical shape, like that of a dragon. It grabbed Naruto in its teeth and began to push him back out. It ascended from below the castle up into the skies above. Naruto managed to break free from its teeth and entered into freefall. As he fell, he called out, "Kurama!" Suddenly, the nine tails within him awakened, forming a large golden avatar that Naruto existed inside of. It landed on the ground with such a thud that the whole kingdom felt it in the form of an earthquake. Kurama looked up into the sky.
"What have you gotten us into now, Naruto?"
"I'll explain it later, Kurama. Just know that our target's that dragon up there."
"Right,"
Kurama said as he turned his snoot up to face the dragon. It turned around and looked down at him. The sheer size of the dragon was enough to rival and even exceed that of Kurama. It looked down at them and let out a roar before charging a dark blast in its mouth. It then let the blast loose. The blast came at them, causing Kurama to dodge. The explosion was incredible, enough to knock Kurama down. Kurama stood. "Now I'm pissed off," he said as he charged his own tailed beast ball. He aimed it up at the dragon and released. The dragon weaved around it easily as though it were nothing. It descended and coiled around Kurama, dragging him across the ground with relative ease. "Kurama, don't let it destroy Lookout Landing," Naruto said as he pointed toward the fort that was getting closer and closer to them. Kurama dug his claws into the ground to slow them. The dragon was left just a few feet away from the infrastructure, Pura staring at it eye to eye. It roared at her, coating her in saliva. She screamed in terror at the dragon's presence. "Was that always under Hyrule Castle?" she questioned. Kurama grabbed the dragon by its horns and pulled it away from the landing, where he beat its head into the stone below, dragging its face across the surface of the ground. The dragon's claws reached up at Kurama and began to claw at his face. Kurama let out a cry of pain as he let it go. The dragon once more wrapped around Kurama and began to fly up, ascending with him well past the Sky Islands. Even if the dragon had to sacrifice itself, it would not let its pride be destroyed. It would take Kurama to the very edge of the atmosphere and whip him out into space. Kurama had nothing to grab onto. "Naruto, I'm out of ideas," Kurama shouted. Naruto looked down. "I'm not." "What do you have planned?" Kurama asked, trying to shout over the wind. "Just trust me," he shouted back. A moment later, Kurama disappeared. Naruto began to fall back down toward the surface, having escaped the dragon's grasp. As he fell, he saw the light dragon coming up toward him. "I knew she'd come around," he said. The light dragon caught Naruto as he fell. It began to flee through the sky, the demon dragon in hot pursuit. Naruto stood there and held onto the master's sword in her forehead. Looking back, he tried to formulate a new plan. "If it wants me so bad, why don't I just give it what it wants?" he questioned. As the light dragon began to ascend upward, Naruto began running down its back. Reaching its tail, he jumped out toward the demon dragon. It opened its maw wide for him. Naruto called out to the power of his secret stone and poured all of his power, every ounce of chakra, into it. Going down the dragon's throat, he let loose his light with all the intensity he possibly could. The demon dragon roared in pain as it felt like its innards had been lit on fire, and in a way, they technically had. Smoke billowed out of its mouth as the supposedly immortal creature found its life somehow robbed from it. Whether this is just a result of its power, or perhaps as one last screw you to Naruto, the beast's power overloaded and it exploded. There was darkness. "Well, I'm dead now," Naruto thought. That was until he opened his eyes. There, hovering above him, he saw Minoru and Rauru. Below him floated the light dragon. Am I dead for real now? He asked. No, Rauru said. We saved you before it was too late. Naruto looked at the light dragon. Looking beyond, he saw the skeleton of the demon dragon on the ground below, likely to become a new monument for the people of Hyrule. As if understanding what Naruto was thinking, Rauru spoke. Even as a corpse, Ganondorf's power continues to be a threat. If he revived once, he can do so again. We must once again seal away his corpse, but this time, perhaps we would be best to seal it into the sacred realm. A realm filled with so much light that even Ganon's darkness cannot reach it. Naruto came to the demon dragon's nose and landed upon it. Looking into its eyes, it seemed dead inside as always, lacking in mind and consciousness despite being awake. He came to the sword and looked at the locket. Looking up, he saw Link's spirit standing there, ever vigilant by the blade. Only Naruto could see him, it seemed, but he smiled to thank Naruto. This knight was loyal in life and was loyal in death as well. Whether she be a princess or the dragon, he was loyal forever to his love and would gladly sail the skies for eternity with her. For a moment, he almost heard Link speak. Thank you. Naruto smiled, though tears filled his eyes. No, this isn't good enough, Naruto said. This ending isn't happy enough. I refuse to watch more people die, he said. I just came out of a war where friends and comrades died. I won't let another Neji go. But you can't fix this, Naruto, Rauru said. Once someone becomes a dragon, there's no going back. That's when another voice spoke. A voice in Naruto's ear that he had never heard before speak. What is your heart's desire? What are you determined to do? Naruto spoke. I want Link and Zelda to be together again. Gaster smiled. Love, he said. Love is the bond that keeps people together, but not the stat. This kind of love can never be parted by any level of violence, he said. Is this still not good enough for you? Naruto shook his head. No, it's not good enough for me. Gaster placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. You push things back in time, Naruto, but maybe you can push time back through something. In that moment, Gaster was gone and Naruto became aware. Looking down at his hand, then at Link, he knew what he had to do. Holding out his hand, the secret stone burning, he gripped the master sword and suddenly the stone changed to bear the kanji for time upon it. Calling on all the power he could, he pushed time back. For Link, it needed only be a month, but for Zelda, it needed to be 10,000 years. With this spell set, he activated it. It was as if he felt the hands of time bending to his will, breaking from the clock, the big hand piercing Link, and the little hand, though smaller, far more potent, piercing Zelda. Rauru and Minoru watched this with awe. Rauru looked to Minoru. These mortals, Hylians, humans, they are amazing. Minoru nodded. Continually unexpected. A moment later, they were falling to the water. Naruto was drained from the power, the arm Rauru having given him being used up and returning to the bleeding stub it once was. Naruto managed to open his eyes just before hitting the water below. He threw another explosive kunai to cushion their fall. Link caught Zelda and all three entered the water. Naruto summoned his will and pulled himself to the surface. Crawling out, he turned over to see Zelda and Link, tears of joy flowing from their faces. They kissed. Naruto smiled as a man appeared beside him. The doctor sat down by Naruto. In all the timelines I've watched, this is the sort of timeline that always entertains me the most, he said. Naruto, only now turning to see the man's scarred face, was somehow not afraid. Who are you? He asked inquisitively. And why are you doing this? Gaster spoke. Because it's interesting for a monster to see the depths of a human's soul. Monsters are filled with love, hope, compassion, but they are so small and weak compared to a human. A human is capable of infinitely greater feats with their soul, and I simply wanted to know the depth of those feats. And now, thanks to you, I have something else to log. Naruto nodded. Gaster stood. Well, it's time for you to return to your world. Are you ready? Naruto nodded. Gaster spoke. For your sake, I'm going to erase all memory of this from your mind. I would hate to tarnish the world you built by adding in more variables than required. The work you've done here deserves that much. But just know this, Naruto. Your kindness, even if nobody remembers it, possesses a legacy of its own that may very well be felt for eternity. And in that moment, both Gaster and Naruto were gone, leaving Zelda and Link alone to question where he had come from and where he had gone. I don't know who you are, she said. I don't know where you went, but wherever you are, thank you. Naruto woke up beside Sasuke again, his body aching from the battle they had. It didn't take much longer for Sakura and Kakashi to find them and grab hold of them. Sasuke was ashamed and ready to take responsibility for his crimes, but that was to think about later. The team was simply happy to be together again, and as they celebrated, Gaster stroked his chin. "This is the power that humans possess," he said to himself. Looking to Chara by his side, he spoke. "Do you see what it is you missed about humanity?" he asked. Chara stood there. "Maybe he's one of the good few, but I've seen what these people are capable of," they said. Gaster looked back at Naruto. "That Sasuke fellow," Chara said. "He's experienced much the same as I. He would understand why I went to Mount Ebott that day. He would understand why I willingly threw myself into that hole. He would understand why I ate those buttercup flowers on purpose. Humanity isn't worth saving." Gaster let out a sigh. "You know what that Naruto fellow said?" he asked. Chara looked up at the curious scientist. "What?" Gaster then spoke. "He said a happy ending wasn't enough for him. He wanted the happiest ending." "He's naive," Chara said. Gaster shook his head. "No, he's determined. Maybe there's a happy ending for you as well," he said. Chara scoffed. "I already reached my ending. Or perhaps you reached a new beginning. The question is, what will you do with it?" Gaster turned around and began to walk away. "Feel free to watch their reunion for as long as you wish. When you're done, let me know." A rather large gray door appeared before him out of thin air. Gaster reached the handle, pulled it open, and gazed into the dark, yet darker void within where his experiments would continue. He stepped through, closing the door behind. But just before the door closed, he took one last look at Chara and thought he spotted a tear running down their stoic cheek. His eyes looked away and he closed the door to offer them their privacy. He disappeared into the void. Finished. That was a good story. I was very pleased when someone asked me to make a story like this. Originally, the story idea was what if Naruto were a reincarnation of Link, but I took a few liberties with the story. I hope that's okay. All the same, thank you for the wonderful idea, Alex Brooks 4819. I hope the story was just as you hoped it would be. And as for everyone else, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comments below what your favorite parts were, what you might have done differently, and what you might like to see in the future. Be sure to drop some more video ideas down here too. I often scan these comments to look for good ideas, so don't be ashamed to drop anything, even if you don't think it'll work. You never know, your story could be the next to get a video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when more videos like this drop. And while you wait for those videos, be sure to check out these other videos by our channel. Anyway, until next time, peace out.